How many miles to empty on a tank of gas on Indian Chief? Let's find out.
200 miles on a single tank of gas was the goal while I was out there on the Indian Chief. And why even attempt this in the first place?
Now there's power in knowing the capabilities and limits of a machine, and with Chief and his 4-gallon tank, there was an unknown on whether or not that capacity was enough. And a bigger question is how far in a ride without stopping for a break is enough. That comes down to personal riding habits, but I typically push in a ride based on how far I can go before I get to low fuel range. And then I start looking for a place to fill up. And new motorcycles are pushing bigger gas tanks with more fuel range capacity, so it's a matter of having the extra fuel for peace of mind than to not have it.
So this range test was completely unscientific, and of course I did it for fun, so it doesn't take into account different weight or elevation, road conditions, and the fact that this bike was brand new because Indian loaned it out to me, that took a lot of the guesswork out. I weigh around 175 pounds, and I tried to keep the speed around 65 to 70, one, because that's the speed limit, and two, I was trying to get the best gas mileage.
But since I was going to deliberately run the bike out of gas, of course I had a plan on how I intended on refilling the bike up, right? Nope, not at all. Whenever and wherever I ran out, that's how it was going to go down.
What's funny about this is I had to refill the bike up at some point when I ran out, so I used the gas can that I used to fill up my lawnmower, and I strapped it to the back of the bike, and it was not secured properly at all. Like, I was literally pushing against it, sitting on the bike, and I was just thinking this thing is gonna fall off. But I learned a lot about strapping things down to the back of the bike that day, but it served its purpose, so lesson learned.
I also tried to clean off some of the bugs from the Dallas trip, and this really didn't help much. Got 36 miles though. But I started out midday, filled up, and I began to head south to see how far I could get. I could have picked open interstate riding to make this easy, but I figured I'd rather do this on a country back road for new scenery and safety. And there's plenty of open road riding for my own leisure with not much traffic, and I was leaning heavy on cruise control, and of course with tour mode, pulling off from the stoplight kept me from wanting to act like I was in Fast and Furious.
Now, I could have made this completely easy and just hopped on the interstate and just kept riding until I ran out of gas, but I wanted to add a bit of randomness and spontaneity to the ride. So essentially, I planned out my trip using the ride command, and I picked pretty much back roads. And I wanted to be in an area with no gas stations. I wanted to be in a new environment, completely out of my element. And again, the whole point was to find out how far I can go on Chief until I run out of gas. But at the same time, I wanted to have an adventure. So, you know, wherever I ran out, that was it. And I wanted to have that feeling of what it's like to run out of gas at any point in time. That was the goal.
Now, capitalizing on that moment, I eventually found a cool place to take a breather, soak in my sweat, and just gather my thoughts for the day. I'm about 100 miles into this trip with absolutely no rush on getting back.
I thought it was. Oh.
So I decided to take a little break. Right now I'm about 100 miles in, and I got about 120-ish miles left on the tank before I run out. But yeah, I wanted to take a break, man. It's fun. It's not the best position with the gas tank on the back. I can't really stretch out like I want to, but it's still comfortable.
I'm leaning heavy on the cruise control, obviously, to modulate the throttle, but especially on the open road. The tour mode is making this it's really easy to get this on this bike. I thought going 65 to 70 miles an hour would, I guess, be boring, but I'm actually enjoying it. But there's something powerful about being in the moment, and one of my favorite authors, Ron Holiday, says it's about being still. He says stillness is the key. And right now, I've been trying to focus a lot on being still, like being in the moment. Not necessarily physically sitting still, but my mind and my body are kind of one with nature, just being in the moment. And right now, when I wanted to take this break, I really wanted to focus on just being in the moment, and that's what I'm doing right now. So, yeah.
Now I'm relying on Chief to navigate my way south since it has the ride command built in. It's working beautifully and it's nothing but cruising on back roads at this point, but things eventually got a little interesting.
Yeah, so the navigation led me down a dirt road, and
Oh, Indian, what have you done? Rod Command, what have you done? You better be glad I don't mind this. Holy crap, what the hell?
that completely threw me off. That was a complete curveball, and the first thought I had was to, at the beginning of the road, just turn around and let the ride command reroute me. And the second part of me was like, that's the adventure. That's what you want. This is what you wanted. Keep going. And that's what I did.
This dirt road was an adventure, and it had me on the edge a bit considering this was not my motorcycle. But saw some farmland and some homes while still hoping that I didn't run out of gas here, but I was far from that happening just yet.
The crappy job of strapping down the gas jug came back to bite me, and luckily it didn't fall off. But essentially the dirt road, you got potholes and craters on dirt roads, and that just upset the bike. You bouncing around a lot, and eventually the gas jug just fell back and is hanging by the few pieces of thread that are holding it on the back seat. But I'm glad it didn't fall off the bike, but luckily I was able to strap it back down, or at least secure it a little bit more. And that whole time I was just thinking, dang, this is really happening in the middle of nowhere. And I was happy. I was at peace. I was happy. I was in a moment of stillness, just being in the moment and in nature, and it was beautiful. And yeah, I was completely there for it.
I'm not the best at tying things, but I think I got this to where it won't go anywhere. Obviously my reins is dropping because I'm not moving. Once I start cruising, it'll go back up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out a better solution, but if this got me this far, it can get me all the way back if it hasn't come off. But it was hanging off the back of the dang bike. Oh, Brandon, my shenanigans. But time to get back on the road. Just finish strong. We have to run this thing out, but in the middle of nowhere. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I'm loving this moment. All right, let's get back. Let's get back to it.
There's so much fun to be had on back roads and discovering new little towns and seeing the little gems that each one has, and I was enjoying it. I didn't have any stress about running out of gas, but more so where would I run out of gas? Not when, but where.
Eventually the time came where Chief finally showed his low range warning, but not indicating how many miles I had left in the tank. And at this point, I'm also trusting the range indicator's accuracy, so it's only a matter of time before I run out.
The first notice that I got that Chief was very close to running out of gas after the low fuel range indicator came on, the bike pretty much skipped a beat or stuttered. It's almost like I lost power, and then I had cruise control on, so that brief moment, it was like a and then of course cruise control kept pulling the bike along, so You know, you're sitting there cruising, chilling, and then the bike skips, almost like someone hit the brakes. Yeah, it's a bit sketchy, but that time was coming.
Now this stuttering that I was experiencing was actually the fuel pump trying to find every little bit of fuel that was left at the bottom of the tank. And eventually that stuttering got more aggressive and hit a breaking point.
Eventually I cut the cruise control off because that stuttering got pretty violent. And again, the bike was losing power. The cruise control wanted to keep the bike at that pace. So if I had the cruise control set to 70 and I'm losing power, it's wanting to keep the bike at 70. So I cut it off. And I had to manually just power down, build speed, power down, build speed, power down, build speed, and eventually that ran out. But every time I thought I was out of gas, it's like it had more. But yeah, that eventually came to an end.
Chief gave up, and I was officially out of gas on the side of the road. It wasn't my ideal place to run out, but that was in the cards.
Let's see. Okay. God, I was wondering where I was gonna stop. All right, time to fill it up. Oh, that was fun. Oh, this is a sucky part to do this. Let's see. I couldn't strategically time it. I got way further than I thought I would. Is this better? That's a little bit better. Whoo, no, that's not a good spot. Oh man, if I can dig this out, this might be better. I can't lean the bike over far enough. And I can't put gas in the bike because it's behind me. Let's see. Oh, this is a damn adventure here. Let's see, can I get it out? Oh yes. Here we go. Oh man. I just need a little bit. I don't need a lot, baby. Relieve some of your pressure. Yeah, baby. I just need a little bit. That's all I need just to get the hell out of this spot. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's what you want, baby. That's what you want, don't it? Yeah. Yeah. Get your gas, baby. I know you don't need that much. Oh, yes.
Now, my only regret to all of this is running out in a place where I couldn't get the kickstand down. Obviously, I ran out in the road, but my thought process was get out of the road, and I just so happened to be on an incline, so when I put the kickstand down, the bike couldn't stand up straight. It was leaning over, and it wanted to lean towards the incline, so I filled the bike up at least to get to the next spot, and I put the gas can in my lap, and yeah, it was it was an adventure, but I got it done.
Oh yeah, I know you like that. Yeah. All right, let's see, where are we at? Let's see. Still low. Got to prime the fuel pump. Yeah, up, came right on up. No need for priming. Yes. Oh, I'm sweating, guys. Yes. Oh, picked up a stick. You want to ride to a stick? This looks like a decent place. Gather myself. Yes. Yes. Wow. That was something. That was an adventure. Wow, wow, wow. Let me finish putting gas in this thing. Woo! All right, folks, I finally ran out of gas, and it was a climactic end to my attempt to run this bike dry, and I was not expecting, well, I didn't know where I was gonna run out, but I didn't want to run out where I wanted to run out at. I don't want to go through that again. But 225-ish miles is what I got fully to the tank, and that's after running the bike completely dry. So I don't recommend that, but I can say that that fuel gauge that's on the bike is pretty accurate, assuming you're riding the same the entire time. Ended up running into the people that own this building. They were really cool about it. Never know who you run into.
And at this point, the test was complete, and I made my way to a gas station without the aid of the gas can back up if I run out again. But luckily, I made it to a gas station, filled up, and decided to take a breather and just soak in more sweat.
So I just had a fantastic conversation with another rider, and I almost didn't stop here. I was just gonna get gas and go ahead and go home because I'm so close. But I stopped and got me a drink and had a little bit of gas station pizza, but he was on a Harley electric glide, and obviously I'm on the Indian, and you know, we were just talking about bikes. It didn't matter what we were riding. We were talking about life. He's actually headed from Alabama back to Indiana. And I just thought that was hella cool, and just, you know, camaraderie, man. That's what it's about. But yeah, that was just a lot of fun. But it's time to get back.
So the final verdict is 225 miles. I averaged, I guess, around 56 miles to the gallon on a single 4-gallon tank of Indian Chief. So the question is that practical? For most people, they'll probably say no, they want more, but I think for most people interested in this bike, it's good information. And I think most people are going to gravitate towards that 75 to 80 miles per hour range, so you can't expect to get anywhere near the gas mileage that I was getting. But I think a safe bet is around that 130 to 150 range when you're just cooling it on the highway if you're going to run in that 70 to 80 range. But again, this was just a demonstration. I think it's good information for people that are interested in this bike, and it just shows that you can get more with less.
Another note is to not run your motorcycle dry on purpose. Long term, that can be a devastating effect on your fuel system. Take it from me. I've been there.
Oh, it was awful.
Recently, I changed the fuel filter on my Suzuki N109R, and it was filled with trash. The point here is when you run your motorcycle dry, it potentially sucks that trash into the fuel pump and any trash in the bottom of the tank as well, and then it goes into your ejectors. You're gonna have a bad day.
Obviously, you need to plan your route beforehand. You don't want to wait till 150 miles and then you start looking for a gas station after the range indicator is showing you low miles for 30 miles, because at that point you're pretty close to running out. But the thing that I don't necessarily like about the range indicator is that when you pass that threshold, let's say you have 40 miles and then it shows you low range when it hits 39, it doesn't show you how many miles you have left. So what I was doing, I was watching the range the entire time, and when I got past that threshold, I would simply just count down how many I have left. And I found that the range indicator is pretty accurate, how many miles you have left, assuming you maintain that same speed. So unfortunately, it doesn't show you that, and I would rather have it that way, but it is what it is.
But for those looking for a chief, there's your answer. 225-ish, 227-ish miles. More than I thought I could get, but here's my question.
Is 150 miles enough on a single tank? I asked this question because bikes now are having well over 250 plus mile range, and sometimes your body wants to brake before the gas tank runs out. So again, the question is 150 miles enough?
Leave thoughts down below. I would love to be able to do more of these if I can get my hands on more bikes. But until next time, thanks for watching. As always, hit that thumbs up button to show your support, and also hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.
Bad boy stayed on there. Yes. Yes. You saved me today. I need to learn how to tie stuff down better and get smaller gas jugs, but it saved me today.